Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another week of JoyceStream. We are joined today by the creative team behind And Still You Must Swing. We have Dormeshia, Neil A. Brown, Derick K. Grant, and Jason Samuel Smith here. I will say that without any kind of making any comment on anybody else's show, personally, this has been one of the most perfect shows I've ever seen in my life. I feel like it just lifts me up and knocks me down. It surprises, it exhilarates, and it questions. And to me, those are the most important reasons why I bring myself out of hiding every time I get to the theater and share a moment with other people. So first of all, I just want to say to the four of you, I feel so honored to be in a space with you and to get to see your faces. I am a huge fan, so this has been the highlight of my calendar all week, is just like I get to be in conversation with these people. I have incredible respect for all of you and what you do. So first of all, just thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for making a show that feels both timely and timeless, that feels like it can be relevant 2016, 2019, and 2021 and beyond. So without further spiel, we're putting this online for a very brief period of time to celebrate National Tap Dance Day, to celebrate Bill Bojangles Robinson, and also to take part in a really fabulous kind of new program called Tap Family Reunion that three of the four of you started. And I will just share that I went up to the Schomburg Center the first year of Tap Family Reunion, and I stood outside. I got off the subway, kind of like didn't know where the Schomburg was. I sort of like look around, and there's this building with a line of people around the block waiting to get inside. And I was like, I believe that that is where I'm supposed to be. And that night just blew me away. I feel like I was introduced to so many people and ways of thinking about percussive dance that I remember talking about it for like months after to anybody that would give me more than 5 minutes, to just be like, do you even know, like, these people, I didn't know so many of these people existed, the artistry that you guys showcased in that. And so I think part of what I want to ask, just first of all, is just the generosity with which you have set up this structure of, you all didn't perform that night. And I actually thought I was going there to see you. And the best part about it was that you gave this adorable and like wonderful, loving speech as a trio, and then stepped right out of the spotlight, and it was all about everybody else. So I think I'd love to hear just what Tap Family Reunion is for you all, and how the three of you started to work on that. And is that an offspring of Still You Must Swing? Like, how did the four of you come together? Like, what's the story of the show? What's the story of Bill Robinson? Like, talk about it all. Everybody jump in.
Like, oh, well, I'll start first. And I just want to say thank you, Aaron, and to the Joyce Theater for the collaboration, for celebrating National Tap Dance Day with Tap Family Reunion, and for the streaming of the show, and for this conversation. I don't know, Tap Family Reunion? How did it, I think it starts again with a conversation, and realizing that there was not really a tap dance celebration for National Tap Dance Day in New York, like, and we wanted to do that. I think us stepping out of the spotlight is I think I don't think we're ever really in the spotlight, so to speak. I don't, consider myself as that. I think I am maybe a vehicle to, to get this information out. But for me, it's not me, so you could take me away from it and I would be just fine. It's not, it just happens to be me. But I think Tap Family Reunion is about the tap dance community. You know, it's not about the three of us. We wanted to celebrate the form. You know, we want to celebrate Bill Bojangles Robinson's birthday and tap dance, the dance. It's about the dance for us. So, yeah. Anybody want to add anything?
Go ahead, Swan.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jay.
No, I was just gonna say, it's also the intersection of celebrating New York and where tap culture and New York City are kind of inseparable. You know, there are actual monuments to tap culture there that even most tap dancers are unaware of. So we tried to focus on bringing back, you know, National Tap Dance Day as a celebration, like Dormeshia said, but we also wanted to bring attention to all the things that made us love New York and made us love the tap community within New York, and the special places, the places where there were jam sessions, the original location of the Tree of Hope, the Hoofers Club, the Apollo Theater, you know, just monuments of places that we know are important to our dance, our community, our culture. And we wanted to shed light and also bring it up to Harlem, because that's the other thing. You know, for years, the National Tap Dance Day had been celebrated in Midtown, and I got no problem with that. I'm from Midtown, but tap dance really lived and grew and matured in Harlem in a different way. And then once it matured in Harlem, it then moved downtown to Midtown, to down to the Village, you know, to the rest of the city. But really, Harlem was kind of, you know, that was the home base for the dance for a while. Not forever, and it wasn't necessarily the beginning, but for a while it was definitely the center. And so we wanted to just bring attention to the places in New York we knew were special to tap culture.
Derick, what about you?
Well, I would just say that I disagree with Dormeshia a little bit. I think that she is in the spotlight. I think that we all are in the spotlight. I think it's necessary for us to be in the spotlight because we're trying to show people what tap dance is by example, by our example. I think there are other examples of what tap dance is. And I think it's important that we share our perspective as well, just to add balance and helping to define tap dance. But I would agree completely that Tap Family Reunion is our way as tap dancers, as people who serve tap dance, to give back to the dance form, to give to show that it's bigger than us, that it's about more than us, to celebrate on an equal level with all the patrons who are invested in tap dance. And what greater way to do that than by celebrating Bill Robinson's birthday as we continue to learn how selfless he was as a human being, as an individual, how much he gave back to his community. He was not someone who was motivated by stardom as much as he was motivated by helping. He had a rough childhood, and it hurt him to see anyone else have to live like that. So he made it his mission to improve people's way of life, so much so that they made him the mayor of Harlem, gave him a badge. And I mean, listen, police in New York City gave a black man a golden gun and gave him permission to carry it around and to arrest people. Like, he was doing something right. Can you imagine being black in this country and being given a badge and a gun?
And a gun.
without being a lawman. Like, he did so much for his community. They gave him a badge and a gun. So, you know, he is an ideal example of selflessness, of giving back. And so, you know, we honor that. By honoring him, we honor that.
Yeah.
So
take me then backwards a little bit in time to Still You Must Swing, which I think is also a show that for each of you is honoring roots, legacy, histories, and the bodies that this work has been built on and contains. So what was the genesis of the idea for this show? I think, Dormeshia, you kind of took the lead on this, and how did the four of you come to work together for that?
Well, I was given the opportunity. Ella Baff approached me after a performance of Blues Project at Jacob's Pillow. Said, you know, I've been watching you for a long time. I'd like to, you know, see what you have to say. And I thought, oh boy, you know, okay, what's this going to be? I never, you know, put myself in that scenario. I love to dance, but didn't necessarily need that in my life. So I thought, I'm going to take this on, and well, what am I going to do? 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 You know, like, really, I'm going to do something. Began to think about what was going to be. And then I kind of let it go. I jotted down a few things, and I decided, you know, I'm stressing myself out. Nothing really comes when you're all stressed. So let me just breathe and kind of let things go a little bit. And I kind of let it go, and I lived life and taught class and traveled the world and, you know, danced over here and shared shuffles, and became very aware that people were not, they weren't even aware of the groove that we call swing. And I became just completely baffled by it. I thought, well, you know, so now I got to go around and, you know, we really got to teach this thing. We got to use jazz music. We're going to really, you know, really swing. And when I knew that I wanted to go, you know, into the swing vibe, I thought, you know, who am I going to, you know, who are these people that are going to help, who have been helping already, who have I been in the trenches with, you know? And it's these two guys, like, actually. For many years, there was a consistent faculty at different festivals and things around the world, and then certain things would change. And there were a few places that this was a bit of a staple for a while. And I think without even, as I think about it now, that was maybe the beginning of, you know, what this is, without us even knowing that this was going to be anything. We were there because we wanted to be there, because we care about the dance and we wanted to share in those parts of the world. And you know, I just felt very comfortable with them because we'd already been doing it. So I thought, yeah, you know, this is who I want to go into this fight with. If we want to call it that, you know, who do I want to go into this thing with? Who's going to have my back? Who, you know, we're all on the same wavelength. All of that, you know, all of that mattered to me. The rapport, the mindset, the work ethic, you know, the reason why we put on a shoe. There's a lot in common there, and that meant a lot for me. So you know, Jason and Derick, man. And I don't know if you guys want to please jump in. Camille, again, I thought I wanted to, another layer of And Still You Must Swing is the groove, but also that history, you know, having this heavy Irish influence. And I'm going, well, I don't necessarily relate to that. I don't relate to that groove, like, I just don't relate to that. So and that's not necessarily what I was taught. So here's what I feel. Here's my connection. Here's my relationship to it. And in order to make that connection for me, I felt that Camille was the right person for that. In that in a gesture, there's so much information just in one gesture. So to see these things come together in the way that she put them together, I knew that it was going to be amazing. And she was like second guessing and, you know, and freaking out. But it's the same thing that I did when Ella Baff came to me. I thought, you know, I totally spazzed out. But I mean, you know, look what we have, you know. So thank you all for saying yes, for being, you know, amazing artists and beautiful people, and ambassadors of your respective forms, and just overall Blackness. Like, what can I say? That's what it is. You know, we're you know, we want that. It's part of the form. It's part of the history. It's part of who we are. So, you know, we can't deny it. Next.
And I feel also like you can't deny this, both in Tap Family Reunion and Still You Must Swing, this incredible, and I'm gonna call you out, Dormeshia. I'm sorry, but your incredible sense of humility and this humbleness that says that you do not occupy the spotlight. You are just a vessel to provide information for people about what you hold in your body and your history, but also the generosity to create space for each one of these people to feel like when you watch this show, it feels like you spend a full journey with each one of you. Like it's the same way that with Tap Family Reunion, you guys just step out and it's like, enjoy the show. In this way, you've also just been like, here are, and you know, you include yourself without any kind of dazzle, but just like, here are 3 people that are here to tell you other stories that share the same thread of the story I want to shed. And that, just the way that each one of you is so compellingly different and so wonderfully unique in what you bring to the show, and the way that these different sections of the show is just like Derick, Jason, Camille, like that's just the name of the section. It's just like, this is their story time now, and it really, like, each one of you takes the space and takes us on a journey, and like you're storytellers in this way that is just so striking. I don't even know if that's a thing. I just like, it's awesome. And as you're saying with Camille, like one gesture, and both of you, I have not much language around tap, but just like the presence and rhythm and delight in play, like the way that you guys, and the borderline of play and not danger, but just like precarity, like you're on the edge of something at every second, and it's just thrilling to watch each one of you as artists, and it feels so rich because you feel like it's impossible to have this much talent in one place. It just like, it continues to overwhelm in waves. And that's not a question, I guess.
Wanted to say something about Camille personally, because I'm sorry, Camille. I didn't mean to throw you off. You what? Me? Aside from the fact that, you know, we forgive her for going to LaGuardia. No, I'm just
Oh no!
No shade. Humanity's in the building. Because, you know, Humanities, come on, that's on the same block as the Joyce. So I gotta show love. No. But what I was really gonna say is that when the first time I saw Camille perform and had the pleasure of sharing the stage, or just even being on the same bill as her, was, I believe that was at in Martha's Vineyard, right, at the Yard. And
that's the first time I seen her too, but I don't think it was the same year.
No, I think it was, but I think we switched, and I might have left and you came in or something like that, because I think it was the same year.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up, but definitely I remember. I mean, when I saw Camille's work and her company perform, you know, it was just to a single pianist. So the pianist was basically the entire orchestra, except for there was some recorded music as well, right? Right, but for the most part, you know, something about that was also very like, I don't know, nostalgic, because it brought back like the element of a silent movie. How, you know, the whole soundtrack for the film is done probably through organ or a piano or dueling piano or however you want to approach it. But it just, the combination of the simplicity of the music and then the power of the messages that you were putting in it, I connected with it so quickly. Like, I mean, I'm getting chills talking about it, but the first thing I thought of was Bringing the Noise, Bringing the Funk when I saw Mr. Tolerance or Mr. Tolerance.
Mr. Tolerance. Yep.
Man, I mean, it made me cry because there were moments in it that were like, it was so brutally true, and yet like it's embarrassing because it's like you're seeing our history, and when I say our, I mean American history told through the dance and through these gestures. But it's like it hit me so hard. I mean, I was like, man, I have to speak to her. So I just remember after that, it let me know how you thought and how you approached your art was parallel to how we approached tap dancing. And I already knew from there that we were going to do something at another capacity. I was just like, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it seemed unapologetic, you know. When I watched Camille and when I listened to her talk about the work, there was a strength there that, you know, it just reminded me of being young, like how you get in a fight and you go get your big brother, big sister. It's like, I'm about to go get Camille, and then, you know, her little self coming here. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just like a strength. There was just unapologetic blackness. And I feel like to be a tap dancer is to live in a black space, but to try to fit in as not to stand out too much or something, because you don't want to ruffle feathers. You don't want to slide into a stereotype, this Uncle Tom shit. You don't want to like be put in these boxes. So we try to be honest and true, but at the same time, it's not that we're apologizing, but I feel like there's this pressure that I felt like when I watched Camille dance, she's broken through that. Like, she acknowledges the struggle, but she acknowledges it from a place of strength. And I was like, oh yeah, like, you know, so all Dormeshia had to do was, you know, create the platform for us to like go to war, so to speak. Not, you know, and I, you know, I know that that's a weighted term. But I did feel like once I saw who was coming together to do this show, I did like puff up my chest and feel like we about to get this done. You know what I mean? Because it was just, that was the energy for me. Certainly by way of Camille's inclusion.
Definitely.
Thank you. Well, I was so honored that well, first of all, I have to tell the story because I'm always going to tell the story. So Dormeshia is one of my inspirations, and I learned about being unapologetic through her when I saw you in 2009, and I think it was at Harlem Stage, and you came on with your locks, and you had heels for your top shoes, and you just blew me away. And I thought, wow, that is power, that is strength, that is beauty, that is confidence, that's bravery. That's what I want to be. So to have the opportunity to be on stage with someone that I look up to, how many opportunities do people have to do that? And then to be on stage with Jason and Derick. Dormeshia was right, I totally spazzed out. Because I was like, what am I gonna do? Why am I gonna, oh my gosh, why did she ask me to do this? And I had to build a lot of confidence, and the confidence really came from the three of you encouraging me the whole time. And I know that was exhausting, but I thank you so much. Because it was really terrifying, because I had to really step in to myself and represent what I do inside of this. And you gave us such beautiful space And I'm not always used to that. Sometimes I'm used to who, what, when, where, what, how, why. You know, I have all these questions, and you left it to me to answer those questions. And it was really amazing to figure that out, to be given that space, and to see the camaraderie of the three of you, and the fact that you were encouraging each other. Like, it was just the stakes, and it was so positive and so encouraging. I was just like, wow, this is art. This is how you make art. This is ingenuity.
I wanted to say one thing too, like, yeah, Dormeshia, I've never been, in terms of, you know, doing a project, I've never been simultaneously so challenged and yet so satisfied, like, in terms of just how fun it was to do the show. Because I feel like, you know, and nothing take away from you, Sponge, with Imagine Tap, but I honestly didn't have a lot of responsibility in that show. I was kind of cruising.
We wanted more. We wanted to do more, right? We wanted to do more.
No, and we did. I mean, listen, you had me and Sponge in the wings begging for, gasping for oxygen tanks, like,
no.
No, but I mean,
like, I really think y'all forgot how old I am. I'm like, I don't think they remember how old I am. Got me out here.
Hey, you said yes.
I said yes before I learned the choreography. Yeah, let's do it.
Facts. Nah, it was, but I just say it was by far definitely one of the funnest shows I've gotten to do. But I don't know if it's because of where I am, you know, in my life personally, or just like also because we are spending so much time as friends and you know, just peers in these art forms. That camaraderie, it just felt like we were hanging out again. And yeah, we got this responsibility, but that's also felt like hanging out. Like, right. This is what we do.
There's an audience there. We might want to.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, you guys watching us hang out? Oh, okay. There you are. Yes.
Exactly.
It kind of does feel like that.
There now. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, applause. Oh, you like that? Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Nah, that's what's up. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It connects so deeply to, I mean, that's the thing that I think is so special about the show, is that not only is it connecting deeply for each one of you personally, but it connects so easily to the audience. It just like pours over the edge of the stage in this way that I agree there is this power and this conjuring and this just, there's a weight and a heaviness to it. It's not just like, there's not a lack of subtext, you know, like the thesis statement is there about like roots and ancestry and the form and all of that. And then there's this other part of me where like the back of my head where your smile muscles happen, I was sore after the show, like my face hurt. You know what I mean? Because I was just like so full of joy, but also had been taken to places of incredible vulnerability and awareness. And you took me there as a friend, you took me there as a companion, and I felt like you held my hand and showed me like the real ropes.
Wow.
Of this, you know, and I feel like I walked out just being like, I'm not going to stop living in the space of that show for a very, very long time. And also it's like one of the most entertaining, joyful experiences as well. But it just like the like give and take with the audience, you know, is just this like ongoing circle of both love and teaching.
What I was gonna say too is that it just trying to escape my mind. Oh yes, this is what I was trying to say. It's one of the first shows that is all dance, or all dance and music, that I've done that's still a narrative. And what it also showed me was that this could be, you know, a version of a tap ballet in a sense, where it is a concert show in essence, you know what I mean? When we're doing each number, you could look at that as like a song or a, you know, a piece of choreography, but it's, you know, it's really more of a glimpse into the conversation and the relationships. And so yeah, it's, I don't know, the way that it tells a story without forcing it upon the audience is more suggestive and it's more interpretive because it's really about the dance and the symbolism of the imagery that's being presented tells the story. The choices of music, the choices of vibe and feel, all of those things,
The flow.
yeah, that they
So
all, that those are all characters in the story, you know. So I feel like it's one of the first like concert, because I don't know how you would really you know, label this show, but it's one of the first concert type of shows that is also a narrative for me. I don't know if y'all felt the same.
Concert?
I don't know what how would you if you had to sum up the experience, like, was it theater, was it concert, was it a narrative? I don't know. What would you call it, Dormeshia?
Actually, I mean, it's all of those things, like you said. It's it's definitely dance. It's definitely music. Theater, I don't know.
Theater in the sense of storytelling. Like it's theater in the sense of um, there was stories being told that were, you know, not just playing ourselves, but playing, you know, unearthing characters that are older than ourselves to tell these stories. Um, so maybe you use the term loosely, but I could see how one could say theater.
Yeah, not musical theater in the sense of how we see it on Broadway or off Broadway. More in the sense of like, you know, a theater production, which could be a play, it could be a musical. More just about the narrative. That's what I meant.
You know, not so much a musical
But
review
concert,
because
but then you say concert because why? Because there's set pieces.
Well, because I also feel like if
Or
you,
because it's live, or what makes what is the concert aspect?
I think it would probably be concert before anything else if you're talking about how they're going to label it, because it doesn't have um, a literal storyline, because it is a collection of music and dance. Then you could potentially take and switch the order. Doesn't have to ride in a certain order.
Right. Yeah. I can move around.
So, so I think that, you know, it's concert for that reason.
Okay.
But another term that I don't know, I probably use it kind of loosely, you know.
review, variety, I mean, it's definitely not a variety show, even though it has a variety of, you know, elements, you know. So, but I still feel like that narrative is like, it's so subtle, but yet very clearly there that I appreciate that it's there without it being like thrown down.
I mean, it's
And
us. I think we come with it so honestly that we don't have to, like, you know, like we were like how I wanted to present our. I wanted us to look a certain way year one. Camille and I had a powwow. She said, let me talk to you right quick. I don't think we have to be so literal. We are it already. We don't have to do this. We don't have to put nothing on.
yeah.
We are it. So I think because we go with it, we move with it so honestly that you feel it. You know what I mean? We don't even have to say a word. You come out with, you know, we know what the intention is. We move with it. We are who we are. And I think people feel that.
as opposed to like some version of drag almost, like this
Yeah,
hyper realized version of an image or something.
yeah. It's, we don't have to overdo. We don't have to, make a big grandiose statement. We we are it. Like, you know what I mean? We have to work at our craft, so when we go to make it happen, it works. You know what I mean? But we are it, culturally. You know what I mean?
And kind of like, I'm thinking especially about like the swing section, the duet that you and Derick do, just like very subtly or not so subtly, just reclaiming the Black and brown body in forms. Just like putting yourself right back. And it's just like, the costume looks the same. You're all familiar with this, and we're doing it,
It's that simple, right?
It's that simple.
Just showing folks, yeah, because that's real. I mean, as somebody who's worked a lot in some of the Lindy circles around the world, it's a very different complexion than it started as.
Yeah, yeah.
And that to me is also just incredibly powerful, to just like put your bodies into the familiar costuming and spaces and music that everybody is kind of like, yeah, this is a jam I know. And then it's, these are the people that I'm watching. And it's like, that's the fact.
Yeah.
And also, while we are in this moment, I just want to name your musical and lighting collaborators, just because we are looking at a video, and their music is a huge part of the show, and
Absolutely.
lighting is a huge part of the show. So I don't have their names in front of me, but if you could just name some of the people that whose work we're also seeing on video.
Well, a lot of the original compositions were arranged and composed or whatever by Allison Miller. The person that you'll hear playing on the piano is Carmen Staff. I think she's got
Allison Miller was also the drummer, though. Say that.
Right. She's also the drummer. On this video, the drummer is Winard Harper. On bass is Noah. I'm not gonna say the last name because I'm gonna butcher it.
Caribbean.
Oh, say that. That's it.
I think I messed it up too many times, so I got to get it right once.
Got it now. And Carmen Staff on keys, Gabriel Roxbury on percussion, Rich on sound. Rich, there goes another last name, Sakalade Saka. I don't know. I'm not gonna try. I shouldn't have tried. I tried. Too late. And Mama Sue on lights, Sue Samuels. Elka on everything.
Production.
And we're looking at the dancers right here. Yeah. That's everybody. Thank you all. Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like that's a great place for us to wrap up. I know you guys have been and have many more activities to come for National Tap Dance Day and Tap Family Reunion, so I don't want to take more of your time. It has been a thrill to see you all. The world is rough. Every day is just like, what is it going to be like today? And I don't just say it that this has been, the second it got put on my calendar, a thing to really look forward to, and just to live in the space of your show again and know that we're working to see it again.
Yes.
We want to do this more, because I think just like the Nutcracker, I'm I'm ready to see this every year. It's good stuff, and you all, until Derick decides he's too old to come out.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Not an option.
No,
it's just like, I can't wait to be back, just to remind the world that we do live things. You all are live bodies, and being in a room with you is like nothing else. And so I can't wait to be in a space with all four of you again. Stay healthy, be well, and thank you for your creativity. Thank you for your voices. Thank you for bringing everything you do to everything that you do.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you so much,
I
Aaron.
appreciate you, man.
Yeah, take
Yeah.
care.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Everybody.
Be safe.
Bye.
Bye.